Hey folks, Drunken Homemaker here, and today we're going to be propagating string of hearts. Welcome if you are new to my channel, and if you have visited before, welcome back. Today I am going to be propagating my beautiful, beautiful string of hearts. I love this plant. It has pink in it. This is my variegated string of hearts, I should say. I don't have a regular one. I do want to get one. This plant is very, very low maintenance. It is a lovely plant for bright indirect light. It is just one of those plants that you could put in front of a bright window and just water it once a week and you're good to go. So I actually bought this plant on Etsy probably a little over a year and a half ago, and it's done really, really well for me. I had it in sort of a dark corner and it didn't really do much of anything, and then once I put it in that bright indirect light, it really, really took off. I only have to water this once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, and it just performs well for me. It does really, really well, and I want to have more of it. Because why not, right? So today I just wanted to do a quick little tutorial. It is so easy to propagate this plant that I almost feel silly making a video about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go over the tools that you will need to propagate, and then we will jump right into the propagation. So the first thing I usually talk about in my videos is using snippers, but making sure that you disinfect them before you start working with them. So that's the first thing I always do in all of my propagation videos. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm just going to take my little snippers. I have linked these below, just making sure to disinfect it really, really well. The second thing you will need is going to be the water medium for water propagation, because that is what I use to propagate string of hearts. If you propagate in a different way, please let me know in the comments below. This just seems pretty straightforward, so this is the method that I use, and I have had success. So this is a cutting, and you can choose whatever receptacle you want. I have chosen one that is very cute because these cuttings are cute. So I did put these cuttings in here not too long ago. I would say maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at this point, and it already has some roots in it. So as you can see, it already has a little bit of a root system, which is perfect. I could probably plant these up sometime next week, but I'm going to leave them in with the rest of the cuttings that I will put in today. It is really straightforward to do this. It's pretty intuitive. If you've ever propagated any plant ever, you will know how to do this. The basic concept that I will show once I zoom in is that there are nodes where these little leaves are. For every one of these little leaves, there are little nodes right in between. So all you want to do is find a node, cut right above or below the node, and then take the leaves off, and then just stick that part in water. So pretty straightforward. Let me show you how it's done. So this is a really funny place to be, especially after the last video that I did about propagation, which was Monstera. So just to show you a close-up, these are the string of hearts, right? And each leaf, each pair of leaves, I should say, right here, there is a node. And that's where the new roots will come out of. So we have to make sure that we are cutting and putting our nodes right at the end so they dip into the water, and that's where they will root. So to show you just a better example of this, you can kind of see this root system. This has been in the water for 3 or 4 weeks. This is what it looks like once it's got an opportunity to root. So the first thing you want to do is to untangle your string of hearts. I apologize for the sound. There is apparently a torrential downpour. But hey, you can't hear the neighborhood kids anymore. So I'm just going to detangle this for a second, just so that we have a clear view of where all of our string of hearts are. Well, that was ridiculous. Here we are 15 minutes later. We had a torrential downpour, and so I had to pause until it stopped because it was so loud. Okay, here we go. So what I did first was I just separated each one of my string of hearts strings, just so that I can see what I'm working with. And so we've got some really nice strings that are covered pretty much all the way. Like you can see, this one has beautiful hearts all the way down the string up until the base. And that's perfect. I don't want to touch that one. I do want to leave some of them long. So you have ones like this that have some hearts, but then some of them are missing. And we just have the nodes here. So you can see kind of here a little bit, the little swell where the nodes are. So I'm actually going to take this one right here. I'm going to cut it back to right where the little heart is, the little heart leaves are. And we've got a node right there. I hope you can see that. So then I have my little propagation glass. You don't have to put it all in one place. I know that people are weird about that, and I get that. You're probably doing the right thing by separating them. I just am a bit of a lazy home gardener. I use the leaves to leverage it into the water so that it doesn't go all the way into the water. So like right there is good. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like inside without spilling water. So you just want to make sure that the nodes where the roots are going to grow out of are touching the water. So I just use the leaves to prop it up above the water so that the leaves aren't going into the water and it's just the node that is touching the water. So I'm going to move that aside and we're going to see where else we can cut. So I think you can see this, but here is where I cut the last cutting. And there's two new little leaves growing out of here. So I'm actually going to just cut right there so we don't have like this long stem. But there are two new little leaves growing right out of there. It's really pretty. I'm going to leave that guy, I think. This one's a little wonky. We've got long sections that are a little bare. I might cut this one back. Just make sure you don't get it tangled, because once you get it tangled, it's really hard to untangle. So right here, I might just propagate a bunch of these. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut it right before these leaves, right over here. See if you can see that. I'm going to just cut right before those leaves. And then I'm going to cut right above this node. You see where that leaf is? There's a leaf right here. I'm going to cut right before that node, and I'm going to cut that leaf off because that's what's going to go into the water. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut right before these leaves. So I'm just taking several cuttings from one, and I'm keeping track of this is the part that's going to be in the water, this part right over here. So I'm going to stick that in the water using the leaf to like prop it up above the water. So you can see what I did here. I just used the leaf to prop it up, and that's what's kind of nice about these heart-shaped leaves. They keep it sort of propped up on the edge. And I'm making sure that the nodes are in the water. And then I'm keeping track that this is where my propagation is. This is the end of my little string of hearts. So right here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to cut a little bit above the node here. And I'm going to cut these beautiful little leaves off, which breaks my heart, but go. And then I am going to cut, I think I'm going to cut right here, right before these leaves, or yeah, right before these leaves. All right, and so I'm left with this type of cutting, this cutting right here. I hope you can see that. So this is the end of the cutting, and this is what it looks like. So all I'm going to do is just cut off a little bit of stem right before these leaves, and I'm going to cut off these leaves. There you go. Cutting off those cute little leaves. And you know what would be really interesting to see is if you could press these leaves, because they're so precious. I just love them. I'm wondering if they can be pressed. I might try to press them. Okay, so I'm going to take this cutting and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to use the leaf again to leverage it over the water. Let me show you what I'm doing. All right. Right here is another good candidate because we have that nice long gap here. And so what I might do is I might cut it right. You see where there's this long gap here? Let me see if you can see that. It's a nice long gap here. I'm going to cut it right before these leaves so that I can take off these leaves. Oop. Oop. And then I'm going to just cut right below the node. And again, just going to stick it in here. This is probably a very relaxing video. I hope. That's the desire, right? I actually don't know if you can propagate the single leaves. I don't think so. And then let's just take a look at this one. You see this one right here? This might be a good one too. This one's got just an empty node here. You can see, hopefully. This one's just got a little empty node right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right before the leaves. And then we're just going to cut a little bit above the node. And then you just stick that in there. And this is actually a really nice amount of cuttings. Ooh, okay. There you go. I mean, how adorable does this look? So I know I said I wouldn't touch this really long one, but I might. All right, so I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to cut it a bit. I'm going to chop it a little bit. So I'm going to cut this one right above these leaves, right above this node right here. And then I'm going to cut those leaves off and put them right there. And again, I got another really nice cutting. I think I can cut a little more off of this one. This one's looking a bit crazy now that I have all of these. All right, so I'm gonna move up that string. So that's the end of my cutting, even though it doesn't look like it. It's really important to know where the end of the cutting is. And I think I'm gonna do this one right here. So I'm just gonna cut off these leaves like I've been showing you. All right, so this is what we're left with, and I think this is a good spot to stop. I don't know if you can tell. So it still looks beautiful and full as a plant. It can stand alone on its own, you see? And this is the thing you have to watch out for the string of hearts, is they get tangled very easily. Here we go, look at that. So there you have it. That is how you propagate string of hearts. These are the little propagations that we have, the little cuttings, I should say, that we got from my string of hearts. And this is what the string of heart plant looks like now. It still looks great, still looks filled out, still perfectly fine to hang it back up and to let it continue to do its thing. But then I've got really, really nice cuttings to sort of help fill the plant out if I decide to up-pot it, which I probably will. So yeah, folks, that is it for me. So just really quickly before I go, I wanted to mention that I did hit 1,000 subscribers and my channel is now monetized. I don't know what to say. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very flattered that I have enough people that want to listen to what I have to say. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm just so grateful for anyone who has liked, commented, subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, you know, maybe hit that subscribe button at the end of this video. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you want to hear more from me, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I upload. As always, thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!